Let's start with an important question. What would it be like to live on an emotional roller coaster every day, where every interaction, every glance, every word spoken, or left unsaid, could trigger an internal storm? This is how many people living with borderline personality disorder feel. Today, we're going to talk about this mental health condition that, unfortunately, still carries so much stigma and misunderstanding. If you know someone, or if you yourself feel trapped in a cycle of intense emotions, it's worth staying until the end of this video to learn more about BPD and how it's possible to find paths to understanding and support. Borderline personality disorder, or simply BPD, is characterized by intense emotional instability, a persistent pattern of feelings of emptiness, and extreme difficulty in forming stable relationships. Imagine living in a constant state of alert, as if your emotions were always on the verge of overflowing, from sudden euphoria to deep sadness or intense anger. This is not something easily controlled. People living with borderline are not seeking attention or being dramatic. They are trying to survive their own emotions. One of the most challenging aspects of BPD is how it affects relationships. Emotional instability leads to an intense fear of abandonment, which can result in disproportionate reactions to everyday situations, like a delay or an unanswered message. For someone with borderline, the fear of rejection often becomes so overwhelming that it creates a cycle. In desperately trying to avoid abandonment, they may inadvertently push people away. But it's important to remember that, despite all the pain, there are no villains here. People with BPD often have a remarkable capacity for empathy and love intensely, precisely because of the depth of their emotions. This intensity can be an incredible strength when channeled positively. Therapies such as dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, have shown promising results, helping individuals develop skills to better manage their emotions and resist acting on impulses. It's crucial to understand that borderline is not a label that defines an entire person. Behind the crises and emotional outbursts are human beings who simply want to be understood, who fight to find stability, and who, like anyone else, long to connect and feel they belong. Therefore, support from family, friends, and mental health professionals is indispensable. Another important aspect of BPD is the role of traumatic experiences and environment in its development. Many people who develop BPD have a history of childhood trauma, such as physical, emotional abuse, or neglect. These experiences can contribute to difficulty regulating emotions and to the development of dysfunctional behavioral patterns. The emotional pain these individuals carry is real, and often the defense mechanisms they develop are ways to cope with that pain, even if those mechanisms are harmful in the long term. Self-care and finding healthy coping strategies are fundamental for those living with borderline. Practices like meditation, physical exercise, and artistic activities can help relieve stress and bring a bit more balance. Additionally, building a support network of friends and family willing to understand and offer help is extremely important. Often, simply having someone willing to listen without judgment can make all the difference. It's also essential to talk about available treatments. As mentioned, dialectical behavior therapy is one of the most effective approaches. It was specifically developed to help people with BPD find ways to regulate their emotions, improve relationships, and reduce self-destructive behaviors. This therapy teaches skills such as distress tolerance, emotional regulation, and effective communication. Additionally, in some cases, medications may be prescribed to help manage specific symptoms like depression, anxiety, or impulsivity, but it's important to note that medications are not the sole solution and should be combined with therapy for the best outcomes. A key point to highlight is the issue of stigma. The stigma surrounding borderline personality disorder remains significant, both in society and, unfortunately, in some medical settings. Many people with BPD report being misunderstood or even judged by healthcare professionals. This makes it even harder for them to seek help and feel supported. It is vital to combat this stigma by promoting greater knowledge and empathy about personality disorders. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity, regardless of their mental health condition. Let's talk more about what it's like to live with borderline day to day. Imagine waking up in the morning and, before even getting out of bed, feeling a whirlwind of different emotions. It might be deep sadness for no apparent reason, anger triggered by a past memory, or even a sense of emptiness that seems impossible to fill. Throughout the day, these feelings can shift drastically, influenced by small things like a conversation, a look, or even a random memory. This instability turns every day into a real battle, which is why many people with BPD feel they are constantly on the verge of an emotional breakdown. But there are also moments of light. People with borderline often have an incredible ability to feel joy and connection, even if these moments are brief. They can be extremely dedicated and passionate about what they do, and this passion can be channeled into positive things. It's important to recognize and value these positive moments, as they are an essential part of the recovery journey. Celebrating small victories, like managing a difficult situation without giving in to impulses, is crucial for progress. For those who live with someone with BPD, it's important to understand that seemingly irrational or exaggerated behaviors are not conscious choices. They are often automatic reactions, the result of years of emotional and defensive patterns. Patience and empathy are essential. Of course, no one should tolerate abuse or harmful behaviors, but understanding what's behind these reactions can help find healthier ways to manage conflicts and strengthen relationships. It's also important to discuss the role of psychoeducation. Learning about borderline personality disorder can be liberating for both those with the condition and their family and friends. When we understand what's happening, it becomes easier to recognize the signs of an impending crisis and apply techniques to help diffuse it. Psychoeducation is an important part of treatment and can be done alongside a therapist, helping to create an environment of greater understanding and support. Another aspect often present in borderline is self-harm and self-destructive behaviors. For many, these behaviors are a way to alleviate emotional pain or feel in control when everything else seems chaotic. It's an attempt to cope with emotions that seem unbearable. Here, again, it's crucial to avoid judgment and offer support. Self-harm is not a cry for attention, it's a sign of deep suffering. Seeking specialized help is essential to find healthier ways to cope with this pain. It is possible to live a fulfilling life with borderline personality disorder. While there is no definitive cure, many people achieve significant emotional stability and build healthy relationships. This requires effort, therapy, support, and, above all, a willingness not to give up. Every step toward recovery, no matter how small, is a victory. If you or someone you know is facing this challenge, know that there are resources and possibilities for a more balanced life. Seeking help is an act of courage. You are not alone. If you found this video helpful and think it can help others understand borderline personality disorder, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share. And if you want to dive deeper into more mental health topics, I suggest you watch our next video, which is popping up on the screen right now. Take care of your mental health, and see you next time.